Hi, I'm Rachel Wood. Welcome to this new series of Chevron safety videos. Taking the time to watch this video will not only ensure your own personal health and safety, it will help us build a long-standing record of safe operations at Chevron. That's good news for all of us. One of our principles of operational excellence is do it safely or not at all. It's most important that you look after your personal safety first and then the safe operation and handling of tools, materials, and machinery around you. However, as we look at the safe practices related to the hazards of dropped objects, it's important to be aware that our actions can impact our fellow workers. Safety shoes or boots are essential personal protective equipment to prevent any injuries related to dropping an object on your feet. Even with a hard hat, the most serious safety hazards often involve dropped objects from above. These elevated work situations can include crane or forklift operations, simultaneous work on multiple decks, and scaffolding work.
It's important to understand safety issues around dropped objects because objects falling from above cause a lot of injuries, and some of those could be fatal. Say is a screwdriver and it's dropped from a height. Okay, now what you have at the very end of the set point of the screwdriver, okay, you have a very pinpoint that could, depending on where it hits you, it will always penetrate your body. It's a very dangerous. It could be a screwdriver, you call it a screwdriver, but if it's coming from a height, you have a potential of having a very bad injury from it. It's always important to wear your hard hat as a PPE to protect you from a dropped object. Yes, but also you need to understand that your hard hat is your last line of defense. It's not the primary one. You can wear a hard hat, but depending on the size of the object coming from above, even if it will hit you, you have potential to have an injury on your neck or shoulder, depending on where the hammer hits you. The preventions you take is not being underneath that area. That's why the barricade is very important. Never walk under a suspended load. If people are working above you, make sure you are not underneath that area.
One of the most important things you can do to avoid dropped objects is using your own awareness. For example, when you're working at a different level above other workers, you may not be aware of their presence, especially if you can't see them. And people below may not realize that there's work going on overhead. Therefore, it's a key part of job planning to identify work that's going on above and below you. The permit to work and simultaneous operations, SIMOP processes, are methods for attaining this. Sometimes the team on the ground will be working with the team above in order to transfer tools and materials. There might be a temptation to just throw the tools up and down, but it's not a good idea. These objects must always be handed over safely. Sometimes, due to the height of the workplace or the weights of the tools and materials, they should be hoisted with a rope. In such cases, it's important that a sturdy sack or other container is used and that the rope is securely tightened. Workspaces are often elevated, but on a drilling rig or offshore platform, they also can exist over water. Divers complete installation and maintenance tasks underwater and can often work close to activities occurring overhead. Dropped materials could strike the diver, the dive boat, or the workers moving on and off the boat. Therefore, the operation of production facility cranes during diving operations is prohibited by the Crane Lifting and Rigging Safe Work, which is SWP 12. But the transfer of any materials over a dive operation must also be avoided. Minimizing risk of dropping objects includes good housekeeping, like keeping spaces clear and putting things away in their proper place. Improperly stored materials can result in unsafe conditions that could potentially cause injuries from dropped objects. Speaking of which, if you drop something, pick it up before it results in a slip, trip, or fall hazard.
If you're going to work on an elevated platform, make sure that those below it are aware of these situations. Make sure you barricade the area, okay? And secure your loads, so secure your hand tools while you're there. If you have to climb stairs to get there, make sure all your hand tools are properly stored in a bag and firmly secured where there's no potential for them to fall down. Make sure that the area around is removed from debris. If you see something that it's out of ordinary, so make sure it gets fixed to prevent it from eventually falling one day.
By ensuring that you create a safe work environment for your fellow workers, you set a proper example that they'll follow in order to protect you too. So remember, do your work safely or not at all. Thanks so much for taking the time to pay attention. Every video in this series has an important message to convey, which you don't want to miss. Again, a long-standing record of safe operations at Chevron is good news for all of us. See you next time.